Hey guys, welcome back. We are back on the cable machine today and we're looking at 4 of the best exercises you can do on one of these for your upper back. Now we're going to go through each exercise in detail. We're going to look at what muscle groups are being worked, what technique points you need to know to do them, and any pros or cons you might have doing the exercise on a cable machine. So without further ado, let's get stuck into our first exercise. Okay guys, so our first exercise on the list is our kneeling lat pull down. It's a great exercise for the lats, so this great big muscle that sits underneath our armpits. If you've got some sort of cushion to use, it does make this exercise more comfortable, but you don't need one. So let me give you a demo of what it looks like. Kneeling down here, tall and proud, and we're pulling our elbows in towards our ribs like this. So unlike a traditional lat pull down where we're pulling straight down, this one we're pulling in towards us. And that's the action that the lats like to do. They like to pull the elbow in tight to the ribs. So this is really working to make sure the lats do as much work as possible. The type of technique points you want to be aware of with this exercise are keeping that tall posture, because it is an exercise that's easy to tuck into a ball like this. So chest out and shoulder blades back. With this exercise, it can be easy to let that shoulder roll forward like this. That is a more dangerous position for the shoulder to be in, and over time can lead to chronic shoulder issues. So we want to make sure that we keep it back. And to do that, think about puffing your chest out as you do it, and that should help you naturally do the right technique. So there is one con with this exercise, and that is that unlike a lat pull down where you've got some rollers that will help keep you in that seated position, because we're just kneeling, if we work with a really heavy weight, we're limited by our body weight. So for example, if I max this out and I try and do the same exercise, I just end up basically doing a super wide chin up. So there's 3 ways that I would do this exercise. 1, I would either do it at the very end of my workout when I'm most fatigued and I'm not working with my maximum weight. 2, I would do it as an endurance exercise where I'm aiming for more like 20 repetitions rather than 8 to 12 repetitions. But my absolute favorite way to do this exercise is to do it as a superset with chin-ups, because almost every cable machine comes with a set of chin-up bars at the top. You can have this all set up and ready to go, so that as soon as you fatigue from your chin-ups, you can just grab those handles, drop down, and get straight into your kneeling lat pull down. And doing it like that makes it feel kind of like doing a drop set, which if you've ever done one of those before, you know they're really hard and effective. All right, let's move on to exercise number 2. So the second exercise on this list is the stiff arm pull down, and it's another exercise that really gets those lats going. You can use a rope or you can use a straight handle, whichever one you prefer, whichever one feels nicest basically. You're going to get a nice tall posture, staggered stance so that you can stay nice and tall, and keeping your arms stiff, you're going to pull the rope or bar down until it gets to your thighs. The way people go wrong with this exercise is normally, same as our kneeling lat pull down, caving in that chest, rolling down. It takes away the work that the lats can do. So you really want to keep your chest out as much as possible when you do this exercise. It's also very easy to let those elbows bend and turn this into like a really long tricep push down. Be really strict with these arms. Keep them as stiff as possible. You don't want those elbows to bend and flex throughout the movement. They're going to stay locked in place so that all the movement comes from your shoulders. Now the reason I include this on the list is because this exercise you can't really replicate with anything else in the gym. There's a really popular exercise you can do with a dumbbell, which is dumbbell pullover, which does that same rotational movement, but it only does it from here to here. The stiff arm cable pull down does the rest of that movement. So I actually think it works really well in conjunction with a dumbbell pullover. doing them both would really work that full range of motion. All right, let's move on to exercise number 3. The third exercise on this list is the bent over cable row. So you need a straight bar for this one. You can get away with a thin one like this, or you can use a nice long handle like you would on the lat pull down. And essentially, we're doing a little partial bend at our hips, chest out, and we're pulling this in towards the bottom of our ribs. And when we do that, we're really trying to pull our shoulder blades back as much as we possibly can, just like we would on any other row. And so for this reason, it's really working our upper back and getting those traps to do a lot of work. I love this exercise compared to doing it with a barbell or dumbbells because you don't require as much flexibility to get into the right position. And for most of my clients that I work with, this is a far more natural position for them to get into rather than a traditional bent over row position. Now you can do 2 different grips with this. You can do the supinated grip like I was just doing with this one. If you want to go for a pronated grip, I would use a slightly longer bar than this one. It'll give you a nicer plane of movement. All right, let's move on to exercise number 4. So our 4th exercise on the list is the single arm cable row. This again is a good exercise for the upper back and the traps. What it looks like is we have our opposite leg forward, and from here we're pulling that cable in towards our ribs. But in this particular example, I'm adding a bit of a twist to my body as well. So there's a few reasons why I love this exercise. One, it's way more functional than most other back exercises. If you actually had to pull something quite hard, that's the sort of action that you would do. You wouldn't just stand there and do something like a traditional row. You'd get your legs involved, you'd get your core involved. So this is really building a more functional strength than the other exercises that you do in the gym. It's also working our left and right arm independently. So if you do have a stronger side, doing exercises like this one is going to help even up those 2 sides. The technique points that you want to watch out for with this one is just making sure that front foot is facing directly towards where the cable's coming from. Standing nice and tall, of course, just like our other exercises, we're puffing our chest out the whole time. You might let it pull you forward a little bit so you get a bit of a pre-stretch. And then our finish position, I've added a bit of a twist to my left side. My elbow is in line with this cable, and I'm making sure that I don't hunch my shoulder up. I'm keeping my shoulder low and depressed through the whole movement, just like this. All right guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions at all, just pop them in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more cable machine exercises, check out either one of these 2 videos here, where I go through a full body program or I go through some of my best chest exercises on the cable machine. All right, I'll see you there. So the first exercise we're going to do is the kneeling lat pull down. Now, if you've got a pad like this one, I would definitely use it. Makes the exercise way more comfortable, but you don't need one.